Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have Scott Kidd. Scott is a yacht captain for the past 20 years, multifamily investor for the past 5, and host of the Yacht Captain Investor podcast. Scott, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Dylan, for having me. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to me.
Absolutely. No, thank you for coming on the show. I've spoken to so many various avatars of real estate investor, people fix and flip, people who have a W-2 job in medical and are also using their income to create a rental portfolio for themselves. I've spoken to people who build hospitals. I've spoken to hard money lenders. I've spoken to commercial real estate brokers. I've spoken to mortgage advisors. I could just keep naming, but I have not spoken to a yacht captain yet. So I'm very excited because I also love to travel. So tell us, how did you get into the real estate space?
Well, I got into the real estate space originally because as a yacht captain or just working on yachts in general, it's a fickle business that here today, gone today. I work on a wealthy person's toy, and if they have a downturn on their business or downturn in the economy, they get divorced, somebody passes away, or they just decide not to have the boat, that could go away at any time. So I always had some kind of side hustle or something to, because it's not a matter of if you lose the job, it's when, and that could happen today. I mean, it could happen right now. But it's just one of those things. I always had to have a backup plan. So I was started with single family homes. As the family got bigger, bought another home, rented the other one, and then fast forward, I was with a friend of mine. We're on the beach and we're having some drinks, and he told me that he bought and sold a 46-unit apartment building in Houston, Texas, and
Wow.
He had made in the 7 figures with himself and his brother. And I said, "Well, you can do that?" And he said, "Yeah, you can do that. I did it. Anybody can do it." And I said, "Okay." And so I kind of was very intrigued with that because I said, "Well, I need some kind of cash flow." And I'd done, the single family. I said, I was going to get one every year like a lot of people, but I didn't see how that was going to get me there quick enough. Not that it needed to happen quickly, but
Right.
I saw that I could have economies of scale and multifamily and stuff. So that started my journey. And, I started slowly. It took a little while.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I've heard this said before, in real estate, the fast money is slow money.
Yes.
The fast money is slow money. But what's interesting is a lot of people talk about breaking into real estate and how to do it: wholesale, fix and flip, short-term rental, corporate housing, multifamily, Airbnb arbitrage, so many different
Yeah.
ways, right? I'm a real estate agent. I started off in wholesale, but I'm also someone who's highly analytical, and I am not opposed to risk, but I want to be prepared. So if I'm going to lose my shirt, I want to be prepared for how that might look. And so when I was initially going into the real estate space, I was selling cars. I wanted to find a way out, and I did so much research for like years. Honestly, it was like probably 2
Mm-hmm.
full years of me researching. And then I discovered, hey, there's these companies that could potentially be hiring in the real estate space. Ended up applying to a bunch of them, got blessed and fortunate to get hired by one of these companies. And then I started learning about wholesale, and that was kind of my journey. So for you, that friend was that bridge to here's the real estate space. If it wasn't for that friend, do you think you would have eventually made the jump, or was he really the impetus for it?
Um, I don't know if I would have. I mean, I probably would have found out about it eventually, but had he not told me that, that was a possibility, I probably wouldn't, because I really know anybody that owned apartments other than, I mean, the first person that gave me a captain's job. He was a real estate developer and had been building homes and developments and apartments since the 50s. But, you know, that was, early 2000s. And, all these deals, you really have to be invited in. And he
Yeah.
probably would have taught me a lot more about it had I been more involved. But, at that point I was busy working on, being the best captain I could be and, building my career, which I, I thought that's what normally you would do, but didn't, I didn't know that these things were possible. So it just goes to show you that if you don't see it, you may not know it exists.
To your point, Scott, yeah, I had nobody in my vicinity no family, no cousins, no uncles, nobody who
Yeah.
was in the real estate space. And so they were all very much so like super stable type jobs, even sales. I was a sales guy. That was like almost outlandish that I would be doing that, selling cars. And so for me then to go into real estate, what it ended up being was they had a RIA conference, a Texas RIA conference, and I was very interested in the RIA events, and they had two people who I really liked who spoke at one of the RIA events. It was one or two people, and I was just really impressed by them individually. And so I think it was something like $1,700 or something along those lines, and that was a lot of money for me at the time.
Mhm.
And so I put that money, and I went with a buddy, and my buddy's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to that." But I ended up going, and then that was the impetus for like my whole career after that. The last 2 years ended up
Wow.
being because of that conference, and it was a great conference. It really was. It changed my life. It's funny enough, Vanilla Ice ended up being there as one of the speakers,
Nice.
talking about his, I guess, fix and flip or contracting journey. And just me having no deals, knowing nothing. I couldn't even understand any element of a real estate contract. I did not know what I was talking about. I was just there, kind of like deer in the headlights and talking to people,
Hmm.
and they were gracious enough and kind enough to tell me their story and their insight. That really made me believe I could do it. And so for you having that friend, it was like, well, he's doing it. I'm going to jump in too. So
Yeah.
what was the next steps for you like? Of course, you're a yacht captain. How do you go and slowly start getting into the real estate space?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Well, the next steps, I had some friends they're always talking about real estate and stuff like that. And I'd always been, just buying and renting the houses and stuff like that. That kind of, it made sense. So I figured there's a big learning curve with multifamily and syndications and stuff. So I, started learning, and I wanted to go to a bunch of meetup groups. And unfortunately, the first 10 or so that I went to were, well, they just try to sell you, the course, the books,
Yeah.
the phone calls, their coaching program and everything else. And I didn't really meet people that were actually doing it. It was just more new people that were just like me. So I kind of got discouraged, and I said, well, let me just go to one more. And then I went to one more, and it ended up just being great. It ended up being a person that I ended up partnering with. She and I are still partners now on a 13 unit. And her meetup was just people hanging out, talking about doing real estate, doing multifamily, doing all kinds of different real estate. And she's still a partner. She still has the meetup group. And I eventually started my own meetup group because I figured other people on yachts wanted to learn about it as well. And that's kind of been a big part of my journey as well, is sharing the experience with other people, and want them to know, not necessarily for them to invest with me or anything, but let them know that there's options and opportunities out there. Let them know that, hey, you can take a shot at something. Don't think that you're stuck.
And so you have your own meetup. Where's it based out of?
Well, we have three meetups: Fort Lauderdale, Florida; Stewart, Florida; and West Palm Beach. And because we're collaborated with a group called Like Minded, and they're going nationwide, and they do events and stuff as well. And so I can say that collaborating with people and partnering with people has really accelerated a lot of things for me.
You had me at Fort Lauderdale, Scott. I think that is my favorite area in the country. I went to Fort Lauderdale. My fiance actually lives in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And so
Oh wow.
coming back from visiting her, I'm in Fort Lauderdale on a layover, and I'm like, this has got to be the nicest part of the whole country. Someone said Boca's a little nicer. I haven't been to Boca. So you being based out of there and having that meetup over there really just makes me super jealous. So you have the meetup and people are coming on in and you're scaling in the multifamily space. What particularly do you like or find attractive about multifamily versus single?
The economies of scale, and I found that it's very similar to what we do on the yachts, is where we build a team and we build teams. We're a part of a team, because without a great team, the boat doesn't go anywhere. The boat will probably sink. Without a great team, the multifamily apartment or commercial real estate, that'll sink. Or if you don't have a good team keeping an eye on it, running it, managing it, acquiring it, selling it, it it it, it just will fall apart. If you have a bad team, it'll be a nightmare.
I completely agree. I mean, especially with multifamily, there's economies of scale. There's also greater risk, right? So
Hmm.
when when real estate agents talk about, oh, I would love to do commercial, well, there's also greater risk in commercial. So
Yes.
as to your point, you get the upside, but you also get the downside. So it's why it's so
Yes.
important to have those partners.
Yes, it's much more expensive when deals don't go through, when they fall apart, as they do. I mean, we had some deals not go through last year that was quite expensive. Still paying for those, but that's a part of it. More often than not, a lot of the other deals have been a lot better, more lucrative, and it's a long game anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, so you have to take your lumps sometimes. And it
So
happens in single family as well.
for sure it does. I'm in that space. Um, for the niche that you're in, uh, yacht space, and then also real estate. Are there a lot of people coming up to you saying, "How do I get into the real estate space?" Or are they saying, "Hey, I heard that you're doing this. How do I partake in these deals?"
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Sometimes, it's more they're curious a lot of times, like, why are you, some people are saying, like, why are you doing two things? Why don't you do one or the other? But I love both of them, so I'm going to continue to do both of them because I don't think you have to just do one thing. If, I'm, maybe I don't get as much traction in both at the same time, but I love both of them. I'm passionate about both. So, why not? Why shouldn't I be happy doing whatever I want to do? And if it
Amen.
takes me longer or it doesn't, or if it takes me longer or somebody's upset about it, that's not my cross to bear.
I'm a big believer, Scott, in this idea of fanatical networking, or some people say networking junkie, guerrilla networking. And I
Yeah.
feel like I owe every ounce of my success not even to a particularly great work ethic. I think I'm a hard worker, but I know that there's some people who just grind to the
Yeah.
bone, and I'm not one of those people. But what I will do is I will go to like you mentioned, a bunch of meetups. I have
Yeah.
the same story, meetup after meetup after
Yeah.
meetup
Yeah.
after meetup. And
Yeah.
I
This
tell
guy's
people
everywhere.
everywhere. I tell people that if you're going to one meetup a month or even one meetup every other week, it's not enough. Even at the stage that I'm at now, I try to get to two types of networking events. It's not necessarily directly related to real estate investing, but I've been to ones for like uh, real estate service providers. I've been to ones
Hmm.
for real estate agents, right? And
Hmm.
so I'm just always trying to mingle with new crowds and different people in the real estate space. But your background being a yacht captain, I almost feel like this is like the all-time great hack for meeting real estate investors, right? So are you do you feel that way? Do you share that sentiment? Being a yacht captain, of course, mingling with people who have great wealth, are you seeing like, well, this is a really great opportunity to meet investors, or is it kind of difficult because it's two separate worlds?
Well, it can be two separate worlds. More traction I've gotten through people that work on yachts because people that own these yachts, people think, well, why don't you obviously know all these people, so they're obviously going to invest with you. What It doesn't really work that way because, people that are, just because you know a bunch of people doesn't mean they're going to invest with you, and they know me as the yacht captain. Like they could give me, sign off on $3-4 million for me to do a refit or, to redo the yacht, but $3 million to do apartments, like, well, we don't know you for that. But, so that takes a little more time. It's like with a family office or a private equity group, those relationships with those larger checks, there's a huge vetting process. The same way like the the yacht owner would have, like, they probably have a real estate department. So for, they come to him and say, hey, they or her, they have, we have this deal, but that's got to go through Johnny and Steve and, and his thing. And then
Yeah.
if you do get the introduction, Johnny's not going to really like it so much because you're kind of stepping into his world and they're like, oh, this is the boat captain. What does he know? This is my world. You're stepping on his toes. So then there's the ego thing. So, and and generally you don't solicit the guests because you're there for you're hired to do their job. But if
Yeah.
they find out and they ask you about it and you talk to them about it, that's different. I've had, um, longtime charter guests. I've had them ask me about stuff before, and sometimes stuff comes of it, and other times, it really doesn't. But it does kind of raise your profile because we get to have these conversations with these high net worth individuals that will most of the time gladly tell you their entire story
Yeah.
of how they made it, the mistakes they made, stuff like that. And, they're curious about what other people are doing. And, that so we get to hear firsthand what's going on, and we get to hear these big solutions to these big problems sometimes, which I always keep my ear open because I never turn down an opportunity to learn.
I'm the same with you, Scott. So on this podcast, I've had so many different real estate investors and entrepreneurs, and just being able to talk with some of them, and like, I can't believe that we're having a conversation, you know. And here I am again talking with a yacht captain and real estate investor. How else am I going to have this conversation, right? The other day I
Yeah.
was talking with an endodontist. I did not know what that was. It's a dental surgeon, okay, who was Columbia, Harvard education, right? And
Wow.
what he does is he helps dentists basically open up their own buildings and their practices.
Oh,
And I
nice.
don't know if he does any mentorship. It didn't sound like he did, but he shifted from that. And what was so crazy about his story was he had an injury which prevented him from doing medical work, from doing dentistry.
Wow.
And I know. So I was like, dude, what? So
That's a
hearing
pretty
these
cool
stories
story.
and like the overcoming, and it really made me realize that you can see, and I'm sure you feel this way too, Scott, you can see a lot of your own story and other people's stories, even if they're super far ahead of you. You're like, wow, that's I can do that. And so then you start
Mm-hmm.
typing out, well, how do I get there?
Oh yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, there's so many ways to do it, so many different people doing it. And it's just pretty amazing that that a lot of people get very egocentric. Like, well, I do this, I do that. But to me, it doesn't really matter. It's just that you are doing it or you're going after it, and you're it makes you happy. So keep doing. If you're just doing it for the money, you're probably not going to be happy.
Yeah, no, it's very tough to have a state of well-being. Uh, there's plenty of people
Yeah.
who are making a lot of money and are not particularly happy, sometimes even healthy, and they kind of go
Mm-hmm.
hand in hand. Like you could work you could work a 10-hour day, 9 to whatever, 7 or 5 or whatever it is. My math is off here, but you could work a 10-hour day and you could still be miserable doing what you thought you wanted to do, but if it turns out that it's not what you thought it was, and I have a great example of this, a lawyer, Arizona, very young guy, lawyer in Arizona, was sitting down across from someone else at a law firm that he was working at, fresh out of law school, and the guy was telling him in 20 years you can be where I'm at. And he was looking at this guy and he was like, I do not want that, and I'm unhappy in this job. And
I
so
don't
he
want to
had,
be there now.
yeah, he had spent all his education, law school, getting in internships, getting this job, right? Finally out of law school, passed the bar exam, sitting in the room. And so he decided at some point, I have to find my way out. And he went, if I'm not mistaken, into uh, either duplexes or multifamily. And he had a big Airbnb strategy, and that was his way out. And so to your point, Scott, it's not just about like making a bunch of money, because you can make a
Hmm.
bunch of money and be like sick to your stomach. And
Hmm.
so you gotta really like to do what you're doing. And if you can find a way to make it a win-win, that's when you can really
Hmm.
develop momentum.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart, but I like putting the puzzle together, and like I said, building the teams, and that's what makes it fun for me. And the people part is really the key in any business, because if you don't have the right people in the right seats, um, chances are it probably won't go well.
Yeah, no, you have to have the right people. A bad partnership can be
Oh
cost you a
yeah,
lot. Bad partnership can
yeah.
be almost as bad as a
It
bad
can,
marriage. So you don't want to.
can cost you. It can cost you everything
They can
if
cost.
if
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I've heard, and I don't even have more than 2 years in this business, but I've already heard so
well,
many
yeah.
stories.
Bad partnerships, it's just pretty stressful. You don't necessarily make the other person a bad person. It's just maybe you're not in alignment with everything you're doing. Maybe, like this in people's lives change, where
Yeah.
people are when you sign up for the partnership may change in a year or two, and you may have to make an adjustment, and it can be, one of those things where maybe you have to walk away or maybe you have to sell out, or, but, think very carefully when you're getting into a partnership with somebody, because it is, like you said, it is like a marriage. It really is, because you're signing on that contract. It's five, especially syndications, 5, 7, 10 years.
Yeah.
You're involved with all these people. There's quite a few people involved,
Yeah, it's not like you're just going to the bank and taking your money out, or going on to, your broker account with a stockbroker and selling your stock. You're in it until the deal sells. So it's going to be a long ride. We are coming up on time here, Scott. Where can folks go to get a hold of you?
You can go and find me at my website, investwithscottkid.com. All my social media links, all my email contact information is there. My podcast, everything's there.
Scott, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for giving us some value, for telling us about the yacht industry and the yacht space. I don't even have the vernacular, the jargon to talk about that industry. So if I ever come across another yacht captain in the real estate investing space, I'll have some more stories to tell. Scott, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
No problem. I probably know them. There's a few of us out there. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.